How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Day Dave, and this is a live stream post episode 12. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's having a fantastic day so far. Jody, I see you out there. How are you doing tonight? I'm so glad you're able to join us tonight. Uh, whew, you know what? I'll go ahead and answer your question. It was a long day today. Holy cow. I have been working from 8 o'clock this morning until 8 o'clock tonight. I literally got off an hour and a half ago. It has been a long, busy day. This new job, it's very satisfying, but it's very demanding. It's going to be one of those that keeps me busy, but hopefully it will not interfere with what I do here on this channel and everything that I do for the streams and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much how my day has been. You've had a good day. I'm really glad to hear that. Really glad. We're just gonna give it a few more minutes here just to see who else comes in, and we'll head on from there. Let's see. Play games and gotcha. Hey, you know what? Certainly nothing wrong with that. Certainly nothing wrong. One of those would certainly rather be sitting there and playing games than doing what I was doing all day. Whew, man, that was definitely a busy one. You know, out of curiosity, you had that issue with your PlayStation. Did you ever get it sorted out? Or I know you had to rent one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But were you ever able to get yours addressed, or? Like I said, we'll give it just a few more minutes, see who else joins us here. Let's see, make sure. Just gonna double check some things, make sure my settings are all good. Okay, perfect. I think we'll get going probably about 9:33. How's that sound to everyone? Kind of get this show on a road. Like I said, just waiting for a few more people if they want to come in and hang out. And if you're out there, go ahead and give yourself... I can talk and speak English, I swear. If you're out there, go ahead and give yourself a shout out. Let me know that you're out there. Unfortunately, YouTube does not give us any sort of like roll call or lets me know who's all listening to me. So if you're out there, just say hey in the chat and let me know. Let's see. I've got a couple things all lined up for us tonight, and alright, it is 9:33. Let's go ahead and get this party rolling. Like I said, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day so far. It has been a busy one for me. And yeah, I am so glad being on here tonight, just being able to take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy the night. Really enjoying it. So I'm here at my farm, as you all can see. I wanted to talk about something real quick. Some of you might be aware. Been finding out a lot of issues on this map. Been uncovering them kind of left and right. And in the last episode, for those who have seen, you would be aware that there was an issue with the silage bales, and it appeared to be something specific to the silage bale. What was going on is that the bales were actually, when spawning from the bale storage facility, the barn that we had over in this corner, it was basically spawning 2 or 3 of them in the ground, and then after you had those 2 kind of spawned in the ground, and then everything else would start to stack on top of them, and they would actually be above ground. And I ended up losing like 8 bales in that ballpark. So I decided that I would start doing some testing. I went through and I tested out, is it just this particular barn that was here, or was it something to do with just bale storage on this map in general, or was it just localized to just the type of bales I was making? Because for those who are not aware, I'm actually using this this right here. So I'm using just a normal square baler, turning them into silage bales, or I'm making them into grass bales technically, and then using the extractor here to make the large, I call them the sausage link, and from there basically opening them up if it's a contract right away, because it immediately turns it into silage, and then I can load it onto the bale trailer and go from there. But what was happening is, like I was explaining before, is that this storage facility just isn't working for, not this one here that you see, but the one that was here standard, which just wasn't working for those particular bales. It worked fine with hay bales. It worked fine with everything else I would put into it. But it was that specific silage bale, and I don't know if it was my silage bales in general. I don't know. Excuse me. And yeah, so it was just one of those that I had to figure out something to do, and I tested several other storage facilities that I have already installed on my mods list here, and just occurred to me that I don't have anything turned on. That's better. So it was just one of those that when I was realizing that it was not working for any bale storage on this map, or it could have even been just because of the area that I'm in, who knows. So once I finally realized that it just wasn't going to work out with those particular type of bales, I then decided to use this facility here, which accepts bales in for the input, and it technically is a production, and it will allow you to make things like TMR, lime, silage, seeds, lime, liquid fertilizer, solid fertilizer. I'm only using this for storage. I'm not going to use this for the production value or anything like that. It was just one of those that I just wanted to make sure that I had a way to be able to store the product and not have to either use it or just store it around the farm. I just didn't feel that that was going to be, a happy ending. And I wasn't sure if that silo over there was going to hold those particular products. And that's just kind of what we kind of led into. But like I said, if you watch the episodes, you'd be kind of familiar with what happened here, because I kind of gave a brief explanation. Let me catch up with the chat just real quick. Let's see. What do you got to do on the farm? So nothing in particular on the farm just yet. We're going to hopefully be able to get out of this month and then start working on the field there in the background, because that field there is, I think, 1 month removed from being ready to harvest. So we're going to see what kind of product or what kind of yield we're going to get off of that field there in the background. But what we do have going on are a few contracts for tonight. So let's go ahead and head over there. Now, I accepted a couple of them, but in particular, I accepted a wheating contract. And for those who remember from the previous live streams, something's going on with wheating. But I wanted to see if maybe if I skipped ahead, that something would happen. I wasn't sure. So I figured I could accept it. If it didn't work, then I can just reject the contract later. I'm not out anything, just a little bit of time. So this is going to 94, which is where? Oh, right there next to the vineyard. So that works out. Jody used the fast baler. Oh, it's such a good baler. I really do like that. Now the only thing. Oh, hey, let's not do that. The only thing that I don't like, well, actually, are you using the fast baler or are you using the quick baler? Because the fast baler is the one that'll actually lay down the bales on their on the rounded side, and not necessarily on the flat side, so you can have them run away. And on this map, I've already experienced it several times where they are just running away from me if I'm using round bales. That's why the first thing I wanted to get was the square baler, so I wasn't going to deal with that. I could have used the quick bale like in the previous Let's Play, but because I used it in the previous Let's Play, I wanted to go and try something else. And on top of that, I wanted to try my best to stick with brands that are going to be kind of available here in this Italian setting that we're in. And what I ended up doing, funny enough, is I actually checked out a couple of used farm equipment, agricultural equipment websites from Italy, and I found a whole bunch of used equipment that kind of line up to the equipment that I have on the farm. So at least the brand names are lining up on the farm. So it was just one of those kind of making sure that we kind of had that certain level of authenticity from the brands that are represented. I don't know if I'll continue to do something like that going forward, but it's just one of those that I mean, going forward in this Let's Play, I'm going to do that. But I mean, in other Let's Plays, I'm not sure. Are you serious? All right. It did take those away, right? I'm not losing my mind. It did. What is going on here? All right, now I know for certain, that I was having issues with weeding on this map. I don't think there was any updates that came out. I don't think there's, like, is it something to do? What kind of weeder do I have? What is this? This is the horse transformer. I mean, I didn't have this one before. So maybe it's something to do with this particular weeder that it likes. I have no idea. Like I said, this map, I really do enjoy this map. I really like it, but there's so many things that are just little weird oddities that I can't explain. And I know that we kind of went over some of them with Silver Eagle in the last not Let's Play, the last live stream. He was gracious enough to come on and kind of talk and kind of do an impromptu interview. Again, Silver Eagle, let me just say this. Thank you again so much for kind of sitting down with us and let me kind of pick your brain. I really do appreciate it. That was really, really cool. But it was one of those things that we're kind of discovering all these kind of issues in the background kind of thing. And I was saying it before, it's kind of that death by 1,000 cuts. It's just enough to be annoying at the moment. But if this continues and keeps like escalating, like I feel like it's doing, like I'm finding more and more bigger and bigger kind of things that are wrong with this map. And I don't know. It's I don't know when or if I'll find that kind of limiting or that kind of line in the sand where we'll cross over that point and not be able to continue on kind of thing. And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we can just continue to have fun with the series and enjoy things. But it's one of those that if too many more things just start going wrong, then that compromises the entire Let's Play and what can and can't be done. So it's just one of those, it'll be kind of a wait and see kind of things. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see. It makes it a lot easier for me to do. So it's definitely, the fast baler is really, really nice, and the quick baler, in my opinion, is even better. The fast baler, it basically works on the same premise as a square baler would. And what I mean by that is just hit the gas and go. And that's awesome. I absolutely adore that. And then you get the option of having the round bales with that. So it's one of those, you can kind of pick and choose, because square balers tend to be extremely expensive. And it's the round balers that really kind of are the entry point for most starting farms. But the square balers, like I said, the average price of them are like $100,000 to $120,000. Now there are a couple out there where you can get some older ones, where you don't necessarily have to spend that kind of money. Like the baler I have there at the farm, it's like 12 grand, does all the bale sizes and all that. But like, you don't have to spend 120 grand. But there are some out there that are really, really nice, especially the mods. One in particular that I really, really enjoy as a square baler um, is down here. Whoop, are these ones here. It's this whole pack. This pack of balers with windrowers. It basically has the windrower attached to the baler itself. Now, sometimes that can be a nuisance, especially on maps like this where there's a lot of undulations. It doesn't always stay perfectly flat and level because there's a certain torsion limit that the windrower has on that baler. So you could potentially work your way over some of the bale or some of the areas that needed to be picked up. So it's just one of those, you know, kind of what kind of best suits you at the time. That, I mean, we've got so many mods and so much stuff available that there's really, the options are limitless at this point, for the most part. Let's see. So what I'm working on now is I'm just working on contracts. Just going to be kind of going back and forth. We got this weeding contract, which for some reason's working now. The last live stream I did, weeding wasn't working, but I don't know why. I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna hop on and try it because it's available, and if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. I just wanted to kind of, you know, continue on, like, kind of hanging out here just to see. Wow, what is... Oh, okay, so the plowing is showing where there's the... I'm seeing the red speckles in the background of that. I'm not used to seeing the red speckles. Oh man, those really need to be plowed. It's... Maybe I'll come on here in the background one of these days and test if I can plow the state, because I know there was an update on this, but the last time I did plowing or any kind of ground state changes at this vineyard here, it destroyed everything. It just completely ruined it. So I don't want to have to necessarily do that again, but I might come on and try like a test, you know, turn off the autosave and do stuff like that. Let's see. Drives you crazy sometimes? Yeah, the bales running away and doing stuff like that. The issues that we've been having here on this particular map. It's like I said, they're all really, really small, but it's that whole, you know, each grain of sand eventually will make a mountain. And you eventually get to a tipping point to where eventually it starts to become more and more noticeable, more and more of a nuisance, and then finally it's like, okay, I'm done. I can't continue with this. I can't just keep trying to save and salvage. And I'm nowhere anywhere near that. I'm not trying to make it sound like, you know, hey, we're gonna abandon this and go somewhere else. We're not there yet. So Halloween. Oh, so this is going to be the second Halloween where I am a father. My daughter is so I have a pretty big family on my wife's side. You know, she's got, let me think. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's no 5. She's one of 6 siblings. And her oldest sister has 2 kids now, and so Halloween and the major holidays are all like a real big thing for all of us, and we all tend to get together and we go trick-or-treating with the kids. And her 2 kids are relatively older now. They're, you know, one's almost 10, the other's 6 or 7 now, I think. So we all kind of get together and dress up. Well, last year my wife and I, we wanted to do a Ghostbusters themed Halloween, so I was going to dress up as Pete Venkman, Bill Murray's character from the old Ghostbusters movies, and, you know, get the jumpsuit that said Venkman on it. My wife was going to dress up as Sigourney Weaver. Unfortunately, by the time we decided this is what we were going to do for Halloween last year, all the costumes that were in my size and the ones that she wanted to kind of look out for, we just couldn't find anything. She couldn't find the nice red dress that she wanted from the original 1980s Ghostbusters for Sigourney Weaver and her character. That was the part where she wanted to dress up as in the Zool possession state. So that was last year. This year, though, I think we decided that we're going to be the Flintstones. where I'll dress up as Fred, and she'll be Wilma, and little baby Pebbles for my daughter. So I think that's going to be a really, really cool Halloween. We got the costumes already, so that's all lined up, ready to go. We're not waiting like we did last year. I mean, what happened last year is that we specifically went around to all the little shops and stuff like that, that kind of pop-up shops that happen around our area, because we get like the Halloween store pop-ups that are only open in October, and they're there for a month and then gone the day after Halloween, kind of thing. So we were like, oh, well, we'll just check them out instead of going like with Amazon or something like that. And then uh, by the time Halloween, or by the time we were realizing that we were kind of out of luck for finding the Ghostbusters stuff, that's when we're like, okay, well, we'll go look on Amazon and check out there. And it's just everything that we were finding just either wasn't the right size or it was too expensive at that point. We couldn't justify spending that kind of money on a Halloween. So what I ended up doing for my wife and I is we bought Ghostbusters t-shirts. And I still have that t-shirt to this day. I absolutely adore that shirt, which is normally not my style. I normally never wear like branded clothing, quote unquote, besides hockey memorabilia. That's really the only kind of branding I wear. Like I won't wear like Adidas or Nike or anything like that. I just not really big into it. Under Armour, North Face, anything along those lines. I tend not to wear them, and it's just because of style. I just don't care to advertise for other people's product, kind of thing. That's just kind of how my brain works, I guess. But yeah, with the exception of hockey, and that's because I'm a big hockey fan, that I just kind of wean off of the whole things like that. But yeah, Ghostbusters I loved when I was a kid growing up, especially the one from the 80s. The 2016, no comment. No comment on this channel. And then the remake that they did where they kind of passed the torch and went on with the kids, that was kind of cute, but it still kind of lacked the charm that the original ones had, in my opinion. It's one of those that the original Ghostbusters, you could tell actually had production value, to where the 2016 version, relied heavily on two things, in my opinion: narrative that was not necessary for a Ghostbusters movie, and CGI. And sometimes CGI can be very, very good when it's done well and when it's done with a purpose. But if it's overused or too stylized CGI, like the 2016 version was, all the ghosts I felt in that movie were very cartoon-like, very colorful, very overemphasized. But to where in the 1980s and 90s version, the ghosts were very, like, did I already complete this and I'm just not paying attention? Oh, I did too. Oops. Let's see. But in the 80s version of the Ghostbusters, the ghosts that were available, where are the rest of... Oh, it's a... Wow. Okay. It's going to be one of those nights. 50 and 82. So 50 is off. Oh, okay, it's right around the corner. 82, that was, well, kind of around the corner. So let's see. Let's take... But the ghosts in the 1980s version of Ghostbusters, they were just more toned down, and a lot of that was because of the limitations of the technology at the time. The CGI that was used for that was still very, very old school, especially compared to now. But it was also a styling choice to kind of make them kind of bland, not bland, but kind of relaxed and toned down in nature kind of thing. Um, at the same time, though, you also had a lot of actual props and actual physical background stuff. So the library scene in the original Ghostbusters is a perfect example. You actually see like stack of cards that are shuffling in the air when the ghost is actually making their presence known, the library ghost. And the they're actually like having card shooters, and that's just shooting cards everywhere, and books are actually floating across the screen. It's not CGI, it's actual books, and they're actually using like tricks in the photography and all the things that are necessary to make kind of a very special scene in that. So it's got that good kind of mixture, and that was still back in the times where they really cared about how the scenes and how everything was kind of laid out in the background, to where now it's really everything's so much in the foreground that you don't really have that layer of depth beyond what you're seeing in the foreground. You don't have that kind of well, in my opinion, that kind of world building that's available back in the older movies. You do get that to some extent in some of the new stuff that you see nowadays, but it's not to the extent, in my opinion, that was in the movies from the 90s, even really before the 2000s, before CGI was like really a huge thing, was really present in just about every single thing that people watch. But that's just one man's opinion, I guess. Let's see. I love watching Hocus Pocus Yes, Hocus Pocus is an amazing movie. It is so good. They did such a fantastic job with that movie. It's just one of those kind of nostalgic movies where you can turn it on once a year and be satisfied so much with it. But it's also one of those movies where you can turn it on more than once a year. Like a perfect example, Nightmare Before Christmas is probably within my top 5 of movies to watch during the holidays. There's also one of the biggest ones for me on Christmas. Every single year my family turns on the TV and we have 2 movies in the background. Christmas Vacation and Christmas Story. Those are the 2 must-sees, and typically how it goes is Christmas Vacation's on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Story is on Christmas Day. And I think a lot of that has to do with how Christmas Story was basically on TBS, all day growing up. So it just kind of continued into, the modern times that we're in now. Now I own the movie and I will sit there and just pop it in and just kind of play it all day kind of thing. But yeah, there's, for Halloween, there's The Nightmare Before Christmas, there's Hocus Pocus, there's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. There's so many just classic movies that I don't think we'll ever have movies quite like what was available in the early 2000s and before. I think the art of movies are dead, in my opinion. There's virtually nothing that I can be like super excited about going to see anymore, and a lot of that has to do with the kind of let's just trying to find a good place to park. This ought to be good right here. Perfect. But yeah, it's just a lot of it has to do with the messaging that is being introduced into a lot of movies. Okay, so the problem that I see, especially with a lot of modern movies, is the people who are inheriting the IPs, especially on those videos and movies where there's, you know, like remakes, and that's pretty much all Hollywood has nowadays is remakes and remasters and things like that. But it's one of those where the people who are inheriting the intellectual properties of these movies are being terrible stewards of the intellectual property. They think that they know better than the people who actually created it. They think that, and it's an arrogance. It's a well, I know better, I know best, let me do what I think is going to be better for the modern times that we live in, kind of thing. And that's where you see a lot of movies with a lot of overt messaging, over the top, you know, and not have anything to do in reality with the movie or the intellectual property that it's based upon. So it's one of those that, like I said, I have a very, very hard time nowadays being able to get excited for movies, like any kind of movie. It's so incredibly rare that I find something where I'm like, yes, that's something I want to see. And a lot of it is because of, you know, well, movies like Ghostbusters 2016, you know, is a perfect example where messaging came before the story. And yeah, it's just one of those that it's sad. It saddens me because, you know, well, it saddens me, but at the same time, it motivated me. It motivated me to make this channel. It's actually that very thing that made me want to come out and start this channel and to be able to provide just a place to be able to be entertained, a place to, you know, come around, hang out, have fun, talk about whatever we want to talk about at that particular time, and just worry about the entertainment and less about the for lack of a better word, drama that is being needlessly introduced into a lot of, you know, a lot of art and a lot of, well, I won't even call it art anymore, unfortunately. But I don't know. That's how I kind of see things. Let's see. Alex, hola, buenas noches. Hey, thanks for joining us here. How are you doing tonight, Alex? Oh goodness. Let me think. You put me on the spot. I took 2 years of Spanish in high school, and a lot of it is gone by now because that was well over 20 years ago now. Hello, it's hello, good night. I know it's what you said. Or hello, good evening. Hola. Let me think. Hola. I'm trying to think of how are you, and now I cannot remember. I can't apologize. Anyways, how's it going, Alex? How are you doing tonight? Let's see. Jody, Christmas Vacation is a classic. Yes, that is such a classic. Love that movie. And then, hi, Alex. Yeah, it's between Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story. You know, there's the like I said, the Charlie Brown Christmas special. That was a good one. And one of the real obscure kind of Christmas movies, and it's not even a movie, it was a made for TV special. It is by far and away the worst movie ever, well, the worst television special I've probably ever in history. But it's called the Star Wars Holiday Special, and it is action-packed, or not action-packed, it is star-packed with all the original Star Wars characters. It had Luke Skywalker, it had Han Solo, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, all the original characters, but it was a made-for-TV special, and I forget when it came out. It might have been the 60s or the 70s, probably the 70s. Now I'm kind of... Anyways, so basically what it was this made-for-TV special that was just absolute hot garbage. It is the worst thing to ever grace the airways. And it even had characters like B. Arthur from the Golden Girls. Yeah, it was just star-packed. And it was like everyone showed up not caring about it whatsoever. If you ever get a chance to watch it and you're just looking for something to kind of torture yourself with, that's like the torture movie to watch, because it is just so full of cringe, so awful, and it's made by George Lucas. It's made with all the original characters, like it is, and Steven Spielberg, if I'm not mistaken, actually directed it. But it's just awful. It is just something that they completely phoned in. So yeah, it's one of those. If that at all interests you, if you at all are interested in original Star Wars kind of stuff, then yeah, that's something that they desperately try to get everybody to forget about. But it's one of those I will very often try and bring up just to just to not let them forget it, because it is that bad. Let's see. Good finishing your game. Okay, nice. Oh, and you're doing good. Awesome. Glad to hear it, Alex. Christmas movie, Die Hard. Yes, Die Hard. That is a fantastic Christmas movie, and I know there's a lot of people out there. It's like, oh, that's not a Christmas movie. Well, yeah, it is. It's absolutely a Christmas movie. Takes place at Christmas. It has all the holiday. What it isn't is the traditional Christmas movie where you think of, oh, well, it's all twinkly lights and sunshine and rainbows and that kind of feel-good Christmas vibe behind it. But it is absolutely a Christmas movie, and it is the best of its genre kind of thing. For a Christmas movie. Home Alone, that's another fantastic Christmas movie. Yes. Oh, man, you know what? That's what we're going to go on about. We're going to talk about good classic movies, the ones that'll never die, that no matter how many times Hollywood remakes them, they'll never do any better than. Because, yeah, that's... I guess that's kind of the mood I'm in right now. I guess working all day kind of made me a little feisty tonight. So, yeah, so... I'll set my sights against Hollywood and their modern interpretations of things. Oops. There we go. But, yeah, there's so many great movies that came long before, and you'll always get either the sequels that nobody asked for, like Hocus Pocus 2, sequels that nobody asked for, which I'll be fair, I haven't watched that one. I haven't seen it, and I don't know if I can muster the strength to actually do it. It's one of those that unless somebody that I, trust were to say, no, it's a good movie, they actually did, they did the movie and the series justice, then it's one of those that I probably will never watch, because I feel like I would just go into it and just to be disappointed kind of thing. But yeah, Home Alone 1 and 2 I thought were just absolutely spectacular movies. Macaulay Culkin did such a fantastic job in that series, and then I think once they changed it off and went away from Macaulay Culkin, just went to some random kid, just kind of killed off the whole series. I remember growing up, I had a friend, kind of a friend of the family, and they absolutely loved the third one, and they were considerably younger than me, but they loved the third Home Alone, and just every time I'd go over there, it was just playing in the background kind of thing. just I couldn't bring myself to do it. Just couldn't. It's like this. I would always make fun of him. It's like, dude, this one's terrible. I can't stand this one. I mean, in comparison, it was an okay movie, but it's just when you compare it to the originals, it's not even close. What am I doing? Why am I doing all this work by myself? It's because I spend so much time talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing because my hands are on autopilot at that point. I could be getting the next contract up and running. Let's see. Christmas tea. I'm not aware of that one, Jody. Yeah, I'm not aware of Christmas tea. Let's see. Back here. You know what? I'm not even going to hook up the header. I'm just going to cut through and get to... Because it's just on the other side here. I might even be able to stick close to this wood line here. I mean, there's nothing planted here. Nothing growing, at least. I'm trying to think of some other classic holiday movies. So we've already said Nightmare Before Christmas. We've said Hocus Pocus, Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I'm trying to think of some other good ones. I'm gonna have to go into the field. Let's see, but golly, I'm trying to think of some other real good either Christmas or Halloween classics. There we go. But if my wife was up here, she'd be shouting Hallmark, and it's like, okay. I know there's tons of people out there that love Hallmark movies, and there are some that are decent, but never been my cup of tea, you know, and quite likely that's because I'm, you know, a guy. You know, I'm not the target audience when it comes to Hallmark movies, but there has been a few where I've sat down with my wife to watch them and whatnot, and they were pretty decent. But with a Hallmark movie, you tend to get a very stereotypical kind of a cookie cutter type of movie. You have a beginning where two people are around each other or are kind of bombastic against each other. You then have them kind of interacting more and getting to know each other on a deeper level, and then you finally have them coming together. It's basically the beginning, middle, and end, and where the end is almost always them coming together and falling in love and all this stuff. So it's, you know, you basically see one Hallmark movie, you've seen them all, kind of thing, which for the most part holds true. You know, there may be one or two kind of outliers in the whole Hallmark saga, but you know, not too many. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some other Christmas classics that are out there. There's let's see. Well, we already said Die Hard. I mean, really, Die Hard series 1, 2, and 3. All three of those I thoroughly enjoyed. You start getting into the latter half of Bruce Willis Die Hard series, like the Live and Let Die and Die Harder and things like that. Those were kind of meh. You know, it's kind of the whole... Oh, what happened? The ground isn't level here. go. Oh, it helps if I get it all. There we go. Perfect. But yeah, the later diehards, they were okay, but I think 1, 2, and 3 are the superior, and 1 is certainly, I think, the best of the 3. I do like how in 3 they kind of utilize the story from 1, how the brother of the villain kind of comes back and, you know, tries to seek his revenge on everything. So I think that's kind of cool how they tied that in. And it's, I think, why the story kind of really holds throughout the 3. And I think that's why it kind of goes off the rail when it goes into the latter ones, is that it's an older Bruce Willis, so it's not really that action-packed vibe kind of thing that the diehards really had. And it honestly reminds me of the latter Sylvester Stallone movies, where he's playing Rambo and, you know, he's, you know, in his 50s and 60s kind of thing. It's like, come on, dude, just pack it up. I get it. You wanna show that you're still with it, but it's one of those, you know, it's not the same. It's just not the same feeling. You're not going to capture the same kind of magic. And at that point, it's just it's sad. It's just sad. Let's see. Yeah, this harvester is really, really good. The Fent and the Massey, it's essentially the same harvester, just branded differently. But yeah, this one is really nice for the kind of realistic harvesters. The one that I haven't gotten to try yet, and I don't know if I'm really ever going to do it in one of my kind of normal Let's Plays or anything like that, is the Colossus Harvester, and they just released a new one. I think it was called the Reaper, where you could have like millions upon millions of liters of storage within it and all that stuff. It's just one of those, I don't foresee myself ever using that in the Let's Play series because of the complete lack of realism in it. But at the same time, it's one of those, I think it's cool. I think it's one of those I would certainly use on my own, like on a map that I was just playing by myself kind of thing. But no, this harvester I really like, the Fent and Massey. What's another good one? I have a couple of modified ones that are really good. Like there's a smaller case, yeah, right here. The Axle Flow, the 2 and 4-wheel drive, you have up to 12,000 liters of capacity because you have the huge monster bin on top. That's really nice. I like some of the older Dominators. I have a Kloss Dominator that's downloaded. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. A couple of 105, 85, the Gigant. There, a couple of John Deeres. There's just so many options nowadays for harvest, for just mods in general, that like I said, it's just, I remember when this game first released and sitting here thinking, oh, I cannot wait for all the mods to start coming and being able to have access to everything. And now we're at the point where we finally have a lot of the mods that will suit the basic needs. And there's still some mods that I feel like could come back from like 2019, like the wood chipper trailer. And what I mean by that, so there was a trailer that basically simulated auto stacking for FS19, and what it did is it had a wood chipper built into the trailer. It would just pop out from underneath, and then it would absorb the trees after you hit them, and then it would show an image of that tree being loaded in the trailer. And all you're doing is you're taking wood chips and substituting with the actual graphical image. And then what would happen is you'd take it to a very specific sell point that would give you an overestimated value of wood chips that would be kind of in line with what the value of wood would be. So it was kind of that simulation of auto-loading a tree kind of thing. And you know what? That's I play for fun uh, when it comes to like my normal kind of when I play the game just to have fun. But when I'm playing to do a let's play or you know, well, yeah, for a let's play, uh, there I think there's a time and place for those kind of unrealistic mods. Um, and it might be I might say it right from the very beginning, be like, you know what, I'm gonna in this particular let's play, I'm gonna kind of be on the more realistic side. On this one, I'll be kind of a bit less strict and a little bit more willing to adapt to whatever is available, kind of thing. And I will say the nice thing about like the Reaper Harvester and the Colossus um, is you're paying for it. $300,000 for one harvester that doesn't include the header. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's up there compared to some of the other ones we have. So 300,000, that put us about Axle Flow territory. You know, it's still down there, but let's see if we do. All right. So yeah, that's the biggest unrealistic. That picks up at 350. The biggest engine, 370. That doesn't affect anything. That doesn't affect. Not. So you can do wind. That's a cool tint. And then colors. I mean, so yeah, you're talking just below $400,000 for what is that, 1,000,000 liter capacity, which again is nice. I could probably unload this one, couldn't I? Like I said, I think they have their time and place, especially within a Let's Play series like what we're doing here. And this particular one, we're kind of going not ultra realistic, but semi realistic, to kind of give us something to aim for, kind of give us something to shoot for. But let's see how much we're going to get here. 82, 83, 84, 85, 86. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Big money, no whammies, no whammies. Stop. There we go. And with 94%, we might as well go deliver. So this is 50. Where is 50 going? 50 is Farmer's Market. Okay. That's just down here. Sweet. And that means the other one is going... Oh, the other one's going up north. Well, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, it's just like I said, it's just one of those that for this particular series, I'm going semi-realistic, so we're not going to be doing the Colossus Harvester, or we're not going to be doing like super ultra unrealistic storage capacities for trailers and things like that. We're going to go with this semi-realistic. There's going to be some auto loads, but not auto loads with massive capacities and things like that. Using bale forks instead of the big bag handler, just things like that. Wow, 75%, just one load. Nice. Not too shabby. I mean, yeah, you figure one whole trailer did all this. That means that how much is left over here? Still a fair bit. Still a fair bit. It's not not a little. Let's see. Let's head. Oh, that one's full. Valtra. But yeah, and when I say that we go semi-realistic, that's for the actual Let's Play episodes. Obviously here you see me cutting through grass and cutting through fields and stuff like that. And it's one of those that the Live streams, as I've mentioned many times before, these are more of the sessions where we can just get to hang out, relax, kind of just be more in a personal one-on-one kind of, well, one-on-one, and however many are out there uh, that are listening to me. But it's just one of those. The point of these is not necessarily for the. It is for the gameplay aspect, but it's not for the aspect of trying to be the semi-realistic with the gaming aspect that we do for the Let's Play series itself. So let's see. So that's all done. I could accept another harvest contract. 48. Where's 48? Basically behind 50 there. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's do 48. That's going over the 0 km. And it's canola? Okay, yeah, why not? Now, unfortunately, this little Massey Ferguson here, tractor that I have, it doesn't have a front 3-point link, which means that I have to back up the trailer. I can't hook it up to the front 3-point link and make it a little easier on myself. I'll take that. I'll take that as a win. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about movies earlier, it's one of those that, like I said, probably the last set of movies that I really kind of got excited for, I think it was like the Harry Potter movies. Like that's one of the last ones I can remember where I was like really kind of excited to go see. I saw some of them, I think even most of them in the theater. Just because it just was a really cool story. It was, you know, a real good fantasy that they kind of built out, and they just did a really, really good job on making them into an actual movie, you know, from the book. Now, obviously, you know, anytime you have a book versus a movie, book is always going to be infinitely better than a movie, because what ends up happening is that with a book, you're only limited by your own imagination, and Hollywood is then, you know, limited to whatever it is that they can create in reality, whether it's with CGI, whether it's with you know, props and sets and things like that. So it's one of those, it'll never, a scene will never look as good in your own mind as it will on the screen, kind of thing. And it's one of those that, especially nowadays, like I was saying before, how we have these really terrible stewards of IP who are more buying the IP as a vessel rather than as a means of appreciation and wanting to actually, you know, be a good steward of the property itself. They want to use the property and not, how do I want to say it? They want to use the property and not entertain, kind of thing. That's basically what it all boils down to, in my opinion. But I don't know. Hopefully one day they'll do better. They'll start, you know, getting more original ideas and not just, you know, deal with remake after remake and reimagining after reimagining kind of thing. Hopefully they'll start to realize that people want to be entertained. And funny enough, we'll pay money. We'll pay money for it too. We'll pay money to be entertained. You know, just one of those. I don't know. I guess it's above my pay grade. at the end of the day. But I'm trying to think of some other like just classic movies. Like I'm not even gonna limit it to holiday movies anymore. Oh, you know what? Spaceballs. Spaceballs. Love that movie. That is such a good movie. It was funny. I actually made a reference to Spaceballs just the other day, um, and it's because a friend of mine, he ended up uh, talking about wanting to rent one of those Tesla plaids, and and as soon as he said it, my mind again, because how my brain works, it just automatically he went to or they went to Plaid, with John Candy just in what was their version of the Millennium Falcon, just going just right over top of their head, and just a big plaid streak just streaking over. Just one of the funniest things that I've seen is that movie. And every time, it's funny because my daughter, she loves yogurt, and every single time, my wife, she's like, can you give her some yogurt, or can you feed her or whatnot? And and she's like, can you give her yogurt? And I just bust out the line, yogurt, I hate yogurt, even with strawberries. And it's just every single time, I absolutely just get such a kick out of that movie. um, and really anything Mel Brooks is just gold, in my opinion. Um, there's Robin Hood Men in Tights. There's Young Frankenstein. There's oh goodness, what are some other good Mel Brooks movies? Days of Thunder. Yep, that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, Trying to think. Now I've got my phone in my hand and I'm looking it up. No, because now I'm spacing. Mel Brooks movies. Here we go. Let's see. Let's scoot forward a bit. Let's see, some good Mel Brooks movies. Obviously, Spaceballs. Oh, History of the World Part 1. That's a classic. Blazing Saddles. That's another one. Wow, how did I forget all those? Um, it wasn't even that I forgot them necessarily, as I just couldn't think of them off the top of my head. Um, let's see. Trying to think of some other. Oh, Dracula Dead and Loving It. That was funny. Um, how he did Professor Van Helsing. Forgot about that. But yeah, Mel Brooks. Those are just he. This is just an absolute classic. Absolute classic. Let's see. I mean, the trophy you got in the game. Um, Trophy I got in the game. Oops, I'm drifting here. I'm not paying attention. Oh man, I absolutely love when I'm paying more attention to more attention to talk or to look at the chat than I have been driving, and then I look up. It's like, oh hey, there I go. Days of Thunder, that was a good one. There's Mission Impossibles. The original's really good. I've not seen any of the remakes, so I'm gonna withhold judgment on those. But I do really like that. What's his name? Sean Penn, I think it is. Um, he was in the zombie movie, the comedy zombie movie. Oh, why am I spacing on that one? Was it Shaun of the Dead? I think it was Shaun of the Dead. Vegas Vacation, that's a great one. Um, but yeah, I really like him because I really like Shaun of the Dead. I really liked Hot Fuzz. Those were good movies. And specifically because of him and the other actor, which I can't remember, or not Sean Penn. No, that's not his name. Oh, now it's gonna drive me nuts. But yeah, Vegas Vacation, Mission Impossibles. Let's see. One of my one of my favorite movies, and for some reason it was one of my favorites growing up when I was really young, and I probably shouldn't have been one of my favorites. It was a movie with Danny DeVito called Other People's Money. If you've never seen that movie, it's it was kind of this pseudo drama movie where Danny DeVito is a big time businessman. Like he's basically a businessman who does only hostile takeovers of specific businesses that he wants, kind of thing. And he sets his sights on this little business in some small town, kind of thing. It's a really good movie. But I was watching that when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I didn't fully understand it. But I don't know, for some reason I really enjoyed it. Uh, oh, what's my wife's favorite movie? By far and away, her favorite movie. Well, really depends on genre, but by comedy would be Spaceballs. Um, and if it's not comedy, oh goodness, why am I missing this one? It's a drama. It's a classic drama, and I believe it's got the girl from Pirates of the Caribbean. Um, why can't I not remember it? Again, I'm gonna break out the IMDb because oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. I cannot remember her name either. Pirates of the Caribbean. Curse of Black Pearl. What was her name? Let's find her name first. Is it Keira Knightley? Yes, I think it was Keira Knightley. And the movie... What was the movie? Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts until I see what that movie... Pride and Prejudice. That's it. Pride and Prejudice. That's her favorite movie right there. Yeah, I every once in a while I'll go into the other room or something like that. And if it's like late at night and I'm streaming or something, I go and either kiss her goodnight or something like that, and she'll have that movie on every once in a while. That's definitely one of her. It's honestly, it's not one that I've ever seen. Um, she loves it so much, and I really ought to sit down one day and watch it with her. Um, I think she'd get a big kick out of it. But yeah, that's definitely one of her favorites. Um, yeah, I always have a really hard time saying X is my favorite or Y is my favorite. I typically will say, well, I have like a top five, and these will be the top five because they're all so good. Like the movies that I would put as my favorite, and then I'm like, oh well, no, then I've got to like do it by genre, or I gotta, oh well, this is my favorite, scary movie. This is my favorite comedy, kind of thing. Because I don't think that they can really compete with each other because of, those kind of. They're wholly different movies. So to have them kind of in the same breath as the others is kind of a disservice to me, in my opinion. Another really good movie, and not a lot of people know this one, and actually goes by two different names. Um, it it was with Samuel L. Jackson. I really enjoyed it when it came out. It's kind of a uh, British movie. Um, oh goodness! Again, it's gonna drive me nuts. Why am I blanking on all these movies right now? Oh, it is driving me nuts. I cannot think of. All right, so I guess IMDb is going to be my friend tonight because for some reason I am just completely blanking on these movies. Um, Formula 51. That's the movie. So it's called Formula 51, but it also goes by another name. Uh, and I think it's called the 51st State. And basically, what it is, for those that haven't seen it, it's Samuel L. Jackson is this uh, brilliant chemist who has a bright future and whatnot, and he's out for a drive. He just graduated from Harvard, and he's out for a joyride, and he gets pulled over by the cops uh, after doing some drugs, and the cop finds the drugs, and basically writes him a ticket and ends up basically ruining his life, kind of thing. Well, because he's this brilliant chemist, what he does, he goes to work for the underground kind of thing, the in the drug world, and he comes up with this drug called Formula 51. It's supposed to be 51 times more potent than ecstasy, 51 times more like it's basically 51 times stronger than everything else out there, and it's this new synthetic drug kind of thing, and it basically just follows him trying to sell the drug, uh, like the actual formula for it kind of thing, and he is basically trying to escape his former boss, um, in order to do it. So he's trying to figure out how to do it, and all that stuff. It's a really, really good movie. It's got a lot of British slang and humor, which I always find very comical, for personal reasons. I love listening to people either curse um, or just to kind of give like their own local slang. I love listening to like that kind of stuff that you would never hear like here in the States kind of thing. And I'm sure that if I went over to England and started talking, slang over there, like curse words and stuff like that, I would, be just as entertaining to them as they are to me. So, Jody, I'm playing on White Farm map. That, you know what? That is a really good map, and surprised me in how good it was. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was, and I think that's because my tastes are changing, almost in real time. Because I think I've mentioned this a couple of times now, where I really never cared for small maps, like anything smaller than the full screen maps. Like this one, this map here, takes up the entire playable surface. So if we go to the map, you can zoom out. You can see it takes up this whole border. Well, it's one of the smaller maps would only be able to play like this small middle area here, kind of thing. And I used to never like those kind of maps, and the reason being was because um, I felt like it was hemming you in. It really was not uh, conducive for large amount of growth or anything like that. And it was just one of those that it was, I think, more my kind of mindset of, well, I want to grow, I want to get bigger, I want to be able to get the biggest equipment and all that stuff. And then I started to realize, no, you don't necessarily have to always have the largest or biggest equipment, but with this with this game in particular, well, it looks like it just stopped and didn't continue. Yep. Well, that's a bummer. Well, might as well let that get going. But with this game in particular, when there's things like productions and all that stuff, you can improve your own farm. So I was kind of again, for lack of a better word, my childlike understanding of this game and what you can do with it. And now that I've kind of re-examined my mindset of the maps and what I kind of find more valuable than anything, I've really kind of started to like these smaller maps. And often because when we have maps like this, where it's the 2x by 2x, once you get around the kind of periphery of the map, you really see a huge contrast in the playable surface versus the outer border. And you can see how in this case they build up the edges here to kind of prevent you from seeing that outer border, and it kind of blend it in. Am I going to be able to get... Oh, hey! Look what I found. Nice. See if I can get up here and jump. There we go. But they kind of build up this outer... Oh, you can't even get up there. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. This outer border, so you can't see the kind of outer edge of the map. So it makes it to where... this map in particular, you don't see that kind of clunkiness that's on the outer edge. I could probably go into third person. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. If the border was a little bit flatter, you'd see out that edge surface there and kind of unfinished area. But the smaller maps, you don't have to worry about that necessarily, because the map maker can actually create more area. You just don't have access to it. So kind of similar to this, where you kind of reach a limit, they kind of make that artificial limit, but they can continue with the actual map itself and make it look like there's more playable area. They just don't let you get to it, kind of thing, which is nice. I kind of like that, because then you don't get that quality loss that you get on the outer periphery. Let's see, Jody, I like playing the small maps sometimes. It's one of those that I'm starting to warm up to them, and for the reasons I'm saying here, and also, like I said, my kind of understanding and my understanding of this game, and what I mean by that is the different avenues that you can take to kind of grow is not just limited to your farm. You could also do things like I'm sorry, hold on just 1 second, I just got a message and I need to look at it. I apologize. Okay, so sorry about that. So a message just came up, and it was, I guess, somebody replying to something I had wrote in a comment, but it was under Crimea River. The email came through and it said something about Crimea River, and I haven't heard from Crimea River in a few days, and was just was curious if that was them. When I saw their name popped up, I just wanted to see what it was, but I apologize for just kind of abruptly stopping there. But let's see, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so it's one of those that now the one criteria I absolutely must have on a map, if I choose to play a small map, the one thing that must exist is being able to purchase all areas of the map. because what ends up happening is that you're already playing on a surface where it's greatly reduced. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. But you're playing on a surface that's already greatly reduced in size. But then if you then throw into the fact that you can't actually do anything with the playable surface, with the whole area that you have access to, well then not only are you limited by the map maker of the area that you can play, but then you can also be limited by the areas that you can play. So a perfect example of this, and a map that really I think is a good map visually, but is a map I would never play, and for this exact reason, is a map Fruling. And both versions of it. The one by, I think it's Kale, is one of the map makers. I don't remember who originally did it for 22. But like I said, it's a nice looking map. It's very visually pleasing, but it's a map where you cannot purchase a vast majority of the map. And all you can really purchase are areas like the farmlands, the fields. And it really makes it next to impossible to grow in any way, because you don't have any playable surface to create new production points. You don't have any playable surface to do much of anything other than to farm. It's essentially, forcing you to strip down to previous versions of Farming Simulator. Oh, what is going on? Okay, I think... Yeah, okay, we got it all. Perfect. Now let's see if this actually continues or stops on us again. Come on, AI, you can do it. You can do it, AI. Come on, I have faith in you. I should have said I had faith until you missed a whole chunk of... Oh, goodness. But yeah, I've been really warming up to the concept of a small map. But that's one of the biggest things that I look for when grading a small map and considering playing a small map, is I have to be able to buy all the area that is playable. So it's one of those, like, I believe is a good example of what I'm talking about. The one map by Black Sheep Modding was the original one that he put out. What was it? Wow, my brain is just not working tonight. I keep thinking of all these different things that I want to try and remember and bring out, and just not working for me. Let's see. I'm looking it up right now to try and find it. Okay, so there's Campaign of France. That's the most recent one Black Sheep put out. Was it the Old Stream Farm? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Not the Valley of the Old Farm. Old Stream Farm, that's it. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that map will allow you to, will limit you to the surface area that you can play in. It's smaller than the full-size card, but it will also let you buy all the map and be able to utilize all the space that you want to utilize. So it's one of those where that's kind of a good example. The white farm has very good space on it. Yes, it does, and that's definitely one of the maps that that would be a consideration of playing because of the amount of area that you have access to. Even though it is, you know, limited in its size, it's a smaller map. Come on, you can do it. Oof, this harvester does not like this field at all. Well, we're almost done with this contract, so come on, little. There we go. There we go. Wow. Let's get this last little bit here. There we go. And then this little chunk here. And then last, I think we had a little bit. Yep. Down here. Might as well get it. It's gonna be, you know what, maybe 5-10 liters if that. But at the end of the day, it takes 2 extra seconds and you get a couple extra liters, so not too shabby. Let's see. Now, I do like that the trailer they gave you fits all the content. Whoops. From the field, so you only have to make one trip, which is nice because this is for this particular field. This is actually a really far trip. Like if you were to stick to the roads and do all that, which I mean it's fine to stick to the roads. Let's see. So it looks like 48 is done. Let's see. Yeah, 48 looks like it's harvested. 50 looks like it should be done. So let me just make sure. 82 is going to resale cereal. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's the one in the north, to the kind of southwest of the farm there by field 58, in between 58 and 76. And then we'll go and deliver the other two, get those all collected, and probably could do these other contracts as well. We'll knock them all out in one sitting. That'd be not too bad, I think. There we go. Get a little bit of the rehydration. It's actually rather surprising that, well, I guess not surprising, that's probably the wrong word, but something I never considered when doing the live streams is just how dry and parched you get during the session. With all the talking that you obviously have to do, it's one of those that it just didn't occur to me until after I started doing it. So I have every time I do a live stream now, and I'm doing recordings and whatnot, I will have a large growler of water sitting right next to me, so I can rehydrate and keep on going. Alright, so we've got a trailer with 26,000 liters of product in it, which means that we should be able to keep 2,600 liters, give or take. So let's go ahead and keep our hand over the trigger. And boop. Oh, close. There we go. 2,300. So that's pretty close. Only had 100 come from income. Alright, so we're going to go and take this to the farm, drop it off, and we'll collect on the contract. Let's see. Oops, 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 oops. What happened? I'm not paying attention where I'm going. There we go. So yeah, we're just gonna return to the farm real fast. We'll collect on this contract and then kind of go from there. But let's see. And then the other contracts, they should be complete, so I can go collect them. I can take whatever's remaining from those over to the farm. And we'll start the next set of contracts. We'll just kind of rinse, lather, repeat. Let's see, we've got 2,000 liters of rye from this. I don't think we have rye from other contracts, or yeah, it would be from other contracts. So I don't think we had any harvest when we first came in. Ugh, that looks so terrible. So I don't know what happened. Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy, easy. I don't know what happened, but when I was planting this field here, you can see the one little stripe there at the left side of the field. It's a different product. It's belt. And I wanted to do rye. So I planted that one area and then I just did the rest in rye. But so yeah, we just had what we had here in the trailer, so let's see. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and collect on that contract. There we go, perfect. And now we've got the canola. Ooh, I wonder if I'll be able to get this all in one go, or if I'm gonna have to make another trip. Ooh, let's keep our fingers crossed, because there's the possibility I'll have to actually come back and... Ooh, 7,000... No, I'll have to come back. I cannot get this in one trip. Let's see what we're going to be over here. So... 4,000... 3,000... Or did I just wildly miscalculate that? Apparently I wildly miscalculated that, because no, we had we had room to spare. I'll take it. I will take that any day. One trip, especially in this little Massey with 2 full trailers, that can get pretty brutal. But let's see. This is going where now? Was this 50? No, 48. Okay, so that's right up there in the corner. So that's the one that's off to the east there. We'll go and deliver that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, you know what? I can go and check up on my grass field. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. And it's ready to harvest. Nice. Actually, I think... Is that stage 2 already? This is the grass field over here, isn't it? It looks like it's still growing. Ah, yeah, it's growing. Darn it. I'm pretty sure that's stage 2. I can go ahead and harvest that. Anywho... Amazing the things that happen when you go and pay attention to what's happening. Let's see. And you know what? This would be a good opportunity for me to talk about channel memberships. So I want to give a shout out to to that driver for running into him. No, I want to give a shout out to all the channel memberships, all the channel members, specifically the Tier 2 members. Thank you all so much for signing up and being Tier 2 members. Starting with Crimea River, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you being the original and oldest channel member up to this point. You were the one that kind of started things off, and I greatly, greatly appreciate you. We also have Mark K. Thank you for being a why do I keep saying that? A Tier 2 member. Thank you very much for being there and for signing up. And lastly, Deco, who I actually had a very cool talk with on the last live stream. We were able to hang out. Turns out they're from Sweden. Had no idea when they first signed up as a channel member, and they were very kind to sign up, be the most recent channel member. Yeah, it was actually a really cool live stream for me the last time. The last live stream, and the reason being is because we had so many people from outside of our region, from my region. We had one young man, or one, I'm sorry, I don't know if they were a boy or a girl, but we had a young person on the channel who was from South Africa. It was the first time I've interacted with somebody from South Africa, so that was really cool. Also had, like I said, had Deco, who's from Sweden, and it was just kind of this kind of realization of the technology that we have, and it kind of flowed very naturally because I was originally talking about technology. Oh no, I sold it. Oh no, I was talking again. Oh well, I really didn't need canola for nothing at the moment, so although I would have liked to have kept it for later, that's okay. Not the end of the world. But now we can get this off of here. But no, going back to the members, greatly appreciate every single one of you who have signed up to be Tier 2s. And anybody who has signed up to be a channel member, thank you all so much for being members. And check it out if you're interested in becoming a channel member. You get several perks that are available for you. You get things like early access to edited content, meaning anything that's a let's play or a blooper, you get early access to, or I shouldn't say bloopers because I have more than just bloopers, shorts, let's plays and shorts. You get early access to them. You also get custom badges, you get custom emojis, and yeah, I think that's yeah, so go ahead and check it out if you're interested at all in supporting the channel. Check out the join button that's on the main page, and that'll show you the list of items that are available to channel members. Ooh, and where's this one going? Oh, this is going to Farmer's Market down the street. Okay. So let's see. I don't know how much I delivered the first time. It would have been a full trailer, so my guess is I'm gonna have roughly about 2,000 to 3,000 liters over. Kind of rough guess. Go here. Alright, this time I'm gonna pay attention to the numbers and make sure that nothing sells that I don't intend to. Let's see. There it is. All right, perfect. So, 1,800 liters. Not as much as I was hoping for, but definitely not bad. Hey, Jody, next Sunday's your birthday. Oh, that's awesome. You got anything special planned for your birthday this year? And if you don't mind me asking, which don't feel like you have to answer this at all, but how old are you? Or how old are you going to be? But again, don't feel that you have to answer if you don't want to. I know there's some people out there that are very conscious about their age, so it's one of those. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Let's see. Oh, now I have to. I want to try and think of something special we can do for your birthday, because that'd be pretty cool. Maybe do a live stream on your birthday on Sunday, like Sunday night, and give you a big old shout out. And I'll have to think it over. I'll have to do something. So you're a good friend of the channel, and then I want to make sure that you're recognized for that. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Hey, Dust Bunny! How's it going? Let's see. Long time no see indeed. Oh, it's so good to see you. If I remember right, now correct me if I'm wrong, you were in the midst of selling your house. Hopefully everything went well there. Oh. Let's see. Oh, fantastic to see you. I'm so happy to see you. Let's see. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. My wife just texted me, and she heard me shout Dust Bunny. So she sent a bunch of heart emojis and whatnot. So I must have said it way too loud that she heard me. Hopefully I didn't wake up my daughter. But let's see, Jody. I'm gonna come remember on my birthday. Yes, I will. I'm going to make a note. You know what? I'm going to do it right now so I do not forget, because it's one of those that, unfortunately, I have a very, very poor memory. But I will set that so I don't forget. So, let's see. Jody, birthday. So that's what, Sunday. Wait, you said next Sunday is your birthday, so that's, let me make sure that is that the 1st of October? Yes, that'd be the 1st of October. So Jody birthday, 1st of October. Let me set an alert so I don't forget. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Let's see. Dust Bunny. How you been? Still waiting for the house to close on the 2nd. It's been a nightmare, but hopefully it will soon be over. Oh my goodness. Things have been fantastic, Dust Bunny. It's really been good. You know, been a while since I heard from you, but as you can see, the channel's still growing. We're doing really good on the live streams, getting to meet a lot of new people. We actually just had a live stream, was it 2 live streams ago, where we got to talk to Silver Eagle, the map maker of Split Mountain. Was it Split Mountain Ranch, I think is what it's called. where we actually kind of did a quote unquote interview with them. They were gracious enough to just sit there and kind of answer a bunch of questions that I had. Um, yeah, it's just been absolutely fantastic. Really good stuff been happening here lately. Um, just so glad that you're here and that you're hanging out with us tonight. I'm sorry to hear that it's been a nightmare to sell your house. Actually, it's funny enough. We're actually talking about selling our house and moving out of the area that we're in. We've actually been kind of house shopping for a little bit. Not house shopping per se, but more location shopping, trying to figure out where we want to go. Um, let's see. Please tell her I said hello. I absolutely will tell her you said hello. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and read the message just so. so, um, she texted me, and my computer will send me my text. So I just saw the notification pop up, and she said, "I heard Dust Bunny with 3 hearts." So yeah, that was she overheard me is what happened. But that is so awesome to meet Silver. You know what? I really thought it was really cool. Found out so much about Split Mountain Ranch and just kind of the modding side of things, the map making side of things, that I would have never have known without talking to them. And turns out Split Mountain Ranch took them over a year to make in its entirety with the updates. So kind of in its final state that it's in now, and also come to find out it's their only, the one and only map that they're gonna make, um, because it took them so long. Because it took, oh wow, that's way up there. Because it took them so long and whatnot, and they have, similar to me, they have a full-time job and all that stuff. They can only dedicate so much time to the whole map making and modding experience, that they basically did that one and now they're good to go kind of thing. But yeah, it was just it was a really awesome experience being able to kind of pick their brain and figure out kind of the background of things. They were talking specifically a lot about their map, for obvious reasons, but they also kind of said a lot of the aspects that were really difficult about their map were things like the waterfall on their map. They said that getting that to work just right was kind of a real bear for them to deal with. So it was just one of those kind of like I said, we've been moving and shaking, trying to get things done around here, trying to like I said, continue to grow the channel and do things around here. But it's actually really, really funny, Dust Bunny. Out of the blue, I shouldn't say out of the blue because it was deliberate. I started watching a little bit of Mr. CeeLeeP's content on Frontier, and he actually mentioned you on there, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I know Dust Bunny." So I just thought it was a real kick when I heard your name, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. Just I had a big old smile when I heard it, that he kind of gave you a shout out, and that he specifically referenced you. For the life of me, I can't remember off the top of my head what it was specifically he was pointing out, but it was something that you said or something that you had pointed out that made him kind of give you the shout out. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. I hope you have a better time than I'm having. I've lived here for 17 years, and the inspector had the buyers request several things to repair. That stinks. Yeah, that's my dad had to, or not had to, but my dad recently sold his house, and he was having that kind of stuff happen all the time. The inspectors were coming through, and we're saying, oh, well, there's some duct work that needs to be fixed up. There's this, there's that, there's the other thing, and there was one thing where I forget the full story, but basically the the woman who ended up buying the home, super super sweet lady. Um, she had an inspector come by, and the inspector said one thing that no other inspector had even remotely pointed out. And what the lady then came back to and said is, well, okay, how big of a deal is that? And the inspector was making out to sound like it was this huge, like, world-ending kind of experience. The house will just blow over tomorrow, kind of thing. And the realtor actually spoke with her and said, look, it's one of those that they have to say that, but it's one of those that in reality it's not a big deal. It's not an issue, and not something that needs to be addressed if you're actually interested in this house. And that was her realtor, not ours, or not my father's. So it was one of those kind of, thankfully he kind of reeled her back in, kind of thing, because it was one of those, she was really like wanting the house and really wanted to buy it, kind of thing. And she was really excited because she had actually owned a townhouse that she had bought. She originally moved from New York to Florida, and she bought a townhouse sight unseen. And I didn't even know that was a thing, that somebody would buy a house and or a townhouse or whatever and not actually like see it, like actually walk in it, be present in it to see if it's something that you're actually gonna like. But she literally bought it from New York, and then eventually moved down from New York, came to here, and turns out it was this townhouse that was road access, like street access, but there was a main road right outside her front door, kind of thing. And she lived there for a few years before she finally decided to leave and go from there. So it's one of those that like, it just, that completely blew my mind. But thankfully the realtor kind of reeled her back in, and that she ended up signing all the paperwork. She bought the house, and it all worked out in the end, kind of thing. And hopefully I hope that the same thing kind of happens for you, is that hopefully every single time that something like this happens, there's going to be bumps, but hopefully in the end it all works out, and that you're happy with everything that kind of goes down. You're happy with the selling price, you're happy with just being done and over the process, kind of thing. So I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, absolutely. Let's see, I'm paying for all the repairs, but they were unexpected expenses. The appraisal came in really low as well. Oh, and that didn't help either. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Dust Bunny. That stinks. Now, is it one of those where like you have to sell it like kind of in a hurry, or is it something that you can kind of sit on for a little while, kind of? Well, you said that you have. Let me reread that real quick. Still waiting for it to close on the 2nd. Okay, so it's one of those. It sounds like you've got paperwork signed. It's that. Okay, so yeah, you're to the point to where there's. Let's see. Oh, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers game. Oh, that'll be awesome. 41. Okay. So you're right there with me, and yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna, at bare minimum, give you some kind of shout out on your birthday. I set the reminder on my phone, so just to make sure that I don't forget. And like I said, I have a terrible memory. My wife tells me all the time, oh no, you don't have terrible memory, you just have selective hearing. And I don't think that's the case. It's one of those that I really do have a bad memory. So it's one of those that I make notes all the time, try to make sure that I remember things. I can remember important things like my wife's birthday or our anniversary, things like that. But if it's something that's like spur of the moment kind of thing, like she'll tell me, oh hey, we're watching our nieces 2 weeks from now, and 2 weeks from now pass, and kind of thing, and then she's like, oh well, we're watching the kids this weekend. It's like, Oh, when were you going to tell me? I told you 2 weeks ago. Oh my goodness. So, one of those. One of those you just gotta love it. Let's see. Need to sell it so we can build the 700 square foot mom cave in my son's backyard. Might have to wait a little while to start building though. Okay, okay. Haven't gotten the estimates from the contractors yet, and it depends on the weather. Yeah. So you're going to be going to live with your son. That'll be nice. My father lives with me, and well, he doesn't live with me, but he when he sold his home, he ended up buying a really nice fifth wheel camper, and he lives on the back side of the property in the camper, and it's awesome because he gets to see our daughter, his granddaughter, every single day, and it's one of those that we get to see him every day, so it's really nice. It's really really nice, but yeah, depending on the weather and all that, and if I'm not mistaken, Dust Bunny, you said you're in Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the weather can be, a bit temperamental. So hopefully all that works out for you, and hopefully you'll be able to, get the place sold and be able to, you know, go to your. That's okay. I did remember. See, maybe my memory isn't as bad as I think it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe it is. I don't know. What was I saying? Oh goodness. Anyways, um, so yeah, I've driven through Arkansas. I've never actually like stayed there for any extended period of time, but when I did go through it, I know that the weather can be, depending on where you're at, there can be a little, you know, give or take, especially at this time of the year, we're starting to get into the end of summer, so we're gonna start seeing some of the cooler months starting to hit here pretty soon. And more than likely you're going to start getting the rain, and depending on where you are in Arkansas, you might be in for some snow, especially this year, because I think the El Nino is going to make things a bit colder than we're used to over the past several years. So we'll kind of see how that all goes. Let's see. That is a real good map. Did I miss something? I'm sorry, Jody. Which map are you referring to? Um, or did I say something? Did I say a map and I don't remember now? Again, it's that memory. Oh goodness gracious. Well, like I said, Dust Bunny, I really, really hope the best for you. I hope that everything kind of works out in the end. It sucks that those unexpected expenditures came up, but hopefully, when everything's said and done, you get settled in, and that you're happy where you're at, and hopefully, at the end of the day, it all just kind of works out. I'll I'll certainly keep you in mind and keep you. Oh, uh, when you. The one you're talking about, when it's your. Huh. Oh, are you talking about the old stream? Were you talking about that map, Jody? I had mentioned that one earlier about Black Sheep modding. Um, I think that was the old stream farm. I think is what it. Yeah, and that if that's the one we were referring to, yeah, that is a nice map. I do like that map. Um, that was definitely one of the contenders for the Let's Play. Because like I said, I'm trying. When it comes to the Let's Play series, I'm trying my best to kind of go opposite of what some of the bigger YouTubers are, like Mr. Sealy P and DJ Go Ham, and you know, I think there's like Daggerwin and Driver 53, which I don't think Driver 53 does a lot of Let's Plays, at least as best as I can tell. But I'm trying to kind of make my own trail, kind of thing, blaze my own trail, kind of thing. So that's kind of the mindset behind that. Even though there are tons of maps out there, I'd love to be able to do like at the same time as some of the bigger creators are doing them. Like Frontier, I'd love to do that, but we've already discussed that. Oh, Mountain Ranch, Split Mountain Ranch. Gotcha. I'm sorry. That's right. Yes, that is a nice map. I do like that one. I actually, after speaking with Silver Eagle, funny enough, I actually re-downloaded that map just to remind myself of what that map was and what it looked like. Because he had mentioned the waterfall on it, and when he was talking about that, it's like, okay, I think this is the map I'm thinking of, but let me re-download it and look at it. And there was several things I wanted to check out on it as well, because he had mentioned the bridge that was on that map that he custom made, that it took him so long to make it. I just wanted to see and like revisualize what was being discussed on that. And after re-downloading, it's like, okay, yeah, this is a pretty solid map. Now, there are certainly some things about it that, like, I wish there was a bit more decorations and things like that that kind of make it look kind of more lived in. But it's one of those, you know, it's still a very nice layout, very good color palette. Like, all in all, very, very solid map. But yeah, no, just oh man, so yeah, all in all, things have been going pretty good here. Yeah, just really hoping the best for you, Jody. Jody, sorry, Dust Bunny. Really hoping the best for you. Really hope that everything kind of works itself out in the end, because it's super stressful to sell, to buy, to build, to do all that. There's so many things that can go wrong, does go wrong, kind of thing. But it's one of those that I think that in the end it all tends to work itself out. And you know, there may be some things that you might not necessarily be happy about at the time. You know, the price will come in lower and things like that. But hopefully it's not to such an extreme degree to where it's going to cripple any kind of advancements that you want to do, kind of thing. So like I said, hopefully it all kind of works itself out at the end. Let's see, so let's pull around over here. Now that that's kind of going, let's get the next one. There we go. There we go. So let's see, it's 11:30. I think we'll go ahead and do this one as well. We'll skip out on 68 for tonight. There we go. And ooh, well, that's gonna be a trip. One cool little tip that I like to do with these headers, because the way that everything spawns, it's kind of a pain sometimes, but if you just load it close to the header trailer and then let that auto snapping take place, it's a quick and easy way to kind of do things. So, fun little tip. And I'll send a worker. Hopefully a worker can get up there without doing too much silliness. There. Okay. Grab this Kubota. Alright, there they go. Nice. Oh, you know what? The Kubota has a front freeze point. Ah ha ha, nice. I don't know why, but I always have a much easier time doing the swivel axle trailers using the front than I do in the rear. There we go. Look at that. Painless. Love it. I think a lot of that has to do with where your turning wheels are. If you have the wheels closer to the swivel axle, it'll make your turns a bit tighter. So I think when everything's all said and done, it makes it just that much easier to steer. That, and your steering direction is all in, like, you're not having to think about it not only in reverse, but then in reverse in relation to the swivel axle trailer that you're backing up. So it's one of those kind of, you know, having less things to think about. But I need to put the stream on hold for just 1 second. I will be right back. Alright, so sorry about that. Wife's getting ready to go to bed, so I wanted to give her a kiss goodnight and tell her sweet dreams. But I also told her, Dust Bunny, that that you said hi, and she got very happy. So she had a big old grin on her face, and she was well. I had told her how I haven't heard from you in a while. I told her it's likely because you were selling your home and all that stuff, and that you've, I'm sure, been extremely busy. You know, so I ended up telling her about that a while back, and it's like, oh well, hopefully, you know, when she gets some free time, she'll be able to come back on and hang out and all that stuff. And it's like, oh, I certainly hope so. And yeah, when she heard me say your name, that's when she, like, really kind of perked up. It's like, oh hey, you know. So, all right, well, there's the harvester. It's still going, at least. Let's see. So oh, you know what? That's something else. So I originally started this stream by talking about the issues that have been happening on this map. There's things I've been finding that are just, at this point, nuisances. They're not like game enders or or let's play enders or anything like that. I've said that a couple of times now. But another one that popped up is, well, the weeding. The weeding, we saw that earlier, but for some reason the weeding worked this time. I don't know why all of a sudden it worked this time, but it did. So that was another issue that's popped up. Another issue on top of that is the sheep. Every once in a while there's something that happens where the sheep just go out into the middle of a field. And I have no... Whoa, there's a pole there. And there's more right there too. I can't get too close to the harvester, or else it'll mess up and won't continue to drive. Oh, you know what? They're gonna go that way. I'm going this way. I can go about 13 miles faster than the harvester can. Let's see if I can make it around here before they can get there. Because I think they're going a more direct route than I am. Kind of. That was very nice. yeah, so yeah, it was one of those that she's genuinely interested in, you know, how the live streams go and how YouTube is going and whatnot, and she's very happy that that I started the channel and that I'm having such fun doing it. And I'll sit there and tell her, you know, all the events and stuff that happen during the live streams or during the recordings and stuff like that, because she's genuinely interested. She really likes, you know, kind of the behind the scenes kind of thing. So there's very often times where I'll tell her, you know, oh well, you know, Dust Bunny showed up today, Crimea River showed up, Jody, so on and so forth, and you know, she gets really excited, you know, when she hears, you know, that there's, you know, that there are people who will come onto the streams regularly, or there are people who will communicate with me regularly. um, you know, she finds that very exciting, and so do I mean, don't get me, whoops, wrong button. You know, it's extremely exciting to have everybody, you know, who are regulars to the channel just come by and hang out and, you know, have fun and all that stuff. So it's like I keep saying, I'm incredibly grateful to every single person, to Jody, Crimea River, Dust Bunny, uh, Deku, Mark K, everybody who comes by on a regular basis to hang out, have fun, you know, to make this channel, make this space what it is. Um, so yeah, all of you give yourself a round of applause, pat on the back, the whole 9 yards, because without you, this space wouldn't be anywhere near what it is. So thank you all so very much. I really do appreciate you and appreciate everything that that you do. And yeah, it's just you know, I tend to say this at every live stream, you know, just about, where I talk about you all and how important you all are to me, how, and let me make sure I emphasize this portion. You are important to me more than just, you know, more than just the sake of the channel kind of thing. You like viewers kind of thing, and I legitimately mean this. It's like I genuinely enjoy being able to come onto these live streams and hang out and talk with you all. I genuinely enjoy being able to interact with you in the comments and things like that. Um, I get far more joy out of the experience of interacting with you than I originally anticipated. So it's one of those that when I say that I greatly appreciate you all being there, and I greatly appreciate um, how dedicated you all have been to the channel, I genuinely mean it. And not just to the channel, but to myself as well. So I genuinely mean it. Thank you all so very much, because it is, I think I've said this before, it's very humbling to see how everybody's kind of come together and has, you know, created an amazing space and an amazing place to be. And again, thank you all so much. I really do appreciate you. Let's see, Dust Bunny, thank you for making a fun place to hang out. You know what, I try. I've really tried to make this into something that not only people are going to, you know, want to come around to, but a place where people are going to have fun, kind of thing. Like I said, we were talking about movies earlier, and we were talking about movies like Ghostbuster and Christmas movies like Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, Die Hard, you know, all like just movies in general. And I started talking about how I feel like movies as a whole have declined, and really just entertainment as a whole has declined, and that's kind of the motivation to what made me start the channel and, you know, all that stuff. It's like, you know, the great thing about the live streams is that we can talk about just about anything. It's not just Farming Simulator, even though Farming Simulator is what kind of brought us all together and what kind of catalyzed the bond that we all have now. But now that we're doing the live streams and now that they're coming a regular thing, and we're able to kind of all hang out and interact in real time, we're able to kind of, go into real time discussions and conversations and really get to talk and get to know each other. Like you, Dust Bunny, you letting us know about selling your house, and all the kind of trials that you're going through with that. It's one of those that it genuinely interests me to hear how things are going, and that unfortunately they're not going as smoothly as we'd all certainly hope they would go. But like I mentioned, hopefully it all kind of rights itself in the end, kind of thing. So like I said, it's one of those that without Jody, without Dust Bunny, without Crimea River, without Mark K, without Deco, without Forge TCG, without every single person who comes onto the live streams, without people that interact with this channel, this place would not be anything near what it is now. And yeah, it not only takes your guys' time and commitment to the channel, but it also reinvigorates me every single time to make sure that I come on to these live streams with as much as I have to give, and to give as much as I have to these live streams, to the channel and whatnot, because I feel like it's the least I can do, kind of thing. So yeah, that's just I know I say this quite often when we get together, but I really do appreciate y'all. Let's see, let's go back to, oh, it is full. Wow. I said this on the last live stream, but it's amazing how fast time can go and how quick things can kind of slip away from you when you're doing something that kind of takes your attention off of time. It could be something that you enjoy. It can be something that's just got you really kind of deep in thought, kind of thing, or deep into a process. Like, so kind of tell you a little story about myself. Back when I was 18, I used to work at a local gas station where I grew up. And I used to work day shifts and night shifts. And for the longest time, it was just days. But they had offered me to work night shift because they basically missed out on somebody who ended up quitting. They were in a pinch, and they were willing to offer me a bit of extra cash for the overnight shift. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try, kind of thing. And there's a bunch of responsibilities and stuff that the night shift had that the day shift didn't, and all that stuff, specifically because it was a truck stop. And it was a small truck stop, but because it was a truck stop, there were certain implements in place that truckers had access to that most everyday drivers don't, kind of thing. So it's one of those that sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I was going with the story. Wow, there goes the memory again. I started talking about something else that didn't have anything to do with the story, and then trailed off from there. Anyways, Maximilian, hi, grats on Cordoba, Argentina. Oh, from Cordoba, Argentina. It's members to. Is it a member to La. From Cordoba, Argentina. Oh, and member of Farm. Is it Farming Simulator? Is that? Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't necessarily understand everything that you put in there, but I hope that you hope you're having a good day so far. How are you doing today? Where? And this is why I missed you, Dust Bunny. Thank you so much. Words are hard. I've spoken English my whole life, and I still don't have it mastered yet. Oh, goodness. Yes, words are hard. Oh, goodness. That was good. That was a good timing on that one. Ooh, I hope I missed that back trailer. I don't want to have to tow both of them if I don't have to. I'm actually shocked I only got that much off of that. Well, I mean, it is a tiny field. There we go. Let's back away. Back away slowly. Okay, cool. The second trailer is empty. So this one, this was 68, was this? 66. So this is going farmer's market. Ooh, so that's a little bit of a drive. That's all right though. But all right, so I was. Do you have any wiggle bottom tractors on this map? So no, this map I don't have any wiggle bottom tractors going on so far. It's one of those I've actually only taken on one tractor. I just a couple episodes ago just sold off all the tractors and really all the starting equipment per se, and just bought myself a brand new New Holland tractor. So it was one of those that the highest horsepower tractor they had was 190 horse Valtra Valmet, kind of the base blue. So one of those that I was in desperate need of an upgrade because I just needed more horsepower, and the New Holland was kind of a good choice from there. No Steigers. No Steigers. Not yet, at least. Not yet. Might be one that comes down the line, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Maximiliano. I'm from Argentina. I'm about to run into cars. I'm from Argentina. La Poderosa Simulators is a group of people who play Farming Simulator and has a channel on YouTube. Oh, okay. Well, hey, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. It's let me make a note of that. La Ponderosa. Ponderosa. Sorry, I'm terrible with English. Then you throw in something like some other language, and I'm just I'm hopeless at that point. So as Dust Bunny said, words are hard. Doesn't matter what language they come in. So no, I'm gonna have to check it out. But hey, thanks for stopping by the for the live stream. But like I said, how are you doing tonight? Hopefully things are going well for you. Let's see. So, okay, good. I didn't miss. I have a really bad habit of talking, which you have to do during these live streams. It's not like you can't just sit there and just twiddle your thumbs or something. But the problem is that I get so wrapped up in the talking that I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. And I had to take a second to make sure I didn't just go past the sell point or anything silly like that. There we go. Let's sell all this and see what this gets us. Well, you know, we probably will sell this because, like I said earlier, we don't need canola. It's just, I could use it for like leverage for a plant or something like that. Oh, $300. Wait a minute. Oh, this is farmer's market too, but it's oats. That's why I was able to complete the contract. Ah ha ha. There we go. So yeah, no, it's just trying a few different things on this particular Let's Play. We're trying to we're going more of a semi-realistic, not ultra-realistic, but we're using things like pallet forks, so we're trying to avoid the big bag handlers and things like that for the most part. Oh, that's I was talking about that earlier, but we had been running into a bunch of issues on this map. Just one way or another, just been finding all sorts of things that are just uniquely broken with this map. So for those who've been following along with the Let's Play and the live streams, you'll be familiar with the grapes over at the vineyard that in the storyline my friend owns that farm over there. And when I cultivated and plowed the ground over there, it destroyed all the grapes. It actually like deleted them from the map. So had to overcome that. Then we've got the issues with the bales not working in the bale storage. We've got issues with the sheep just running around the farm, or all over the map really. We've got issues with the we just got issues. Long story short, we've got issues. But it's one of those where the issues haven't been enough to kind of be a game ender kind of thing. So I was starting to say how all those things have kind of added up, and it's becoming the death of 1,000 cuts, but we're not there yet. I've adapted and overcome in as many situations as I possibly can up until this point. The farm itself, we had to invest in a different kind of storage for the hay, silage, straw, things like that, to where it'll also accept the bales like the bale storage would, but it also doesn't actually it isn't going to function like it normally would. So it is an actual production point, but I'm only using it as a storage facility at this point. But as for equipment at the moment, we can see here, this is the actual New Holland that I ended up purchasing in the last episode there. The T7, 310 horsepower. It only cost me like $160,000, so that was nice. But we can kind of see the kind of range of items that we have going at the moment. And I think it's specifically this wrapper that is the problem. I think that wrapper is what's breaking the bale storage. I need to go onto my test map and create some wrapped bales with the extractor and see if this problem exists on any other map, or is it just localized to this one. I'll have to kind of give that a test and see how things are going. But Dust Bunny, quick question for you. I know you've been busy doing everything that you're doing. Have you had any chances to kind of hang out and just relax and play Farming Simulator? Yeah, I know, like I said, you've been super swamped and trying to fix things. But have you had any chance to relax? And if so, what kind of maps and whatnot are you playing on here recently? I know I think the last we talked, you were playing on, was it the Valley of the Old Farm? I can't remember off the top of my head, but you know, I completely understand if like you've been too busy and just haven't had time to relax. It's one of those, like I said, selling a house can be really stressful. But let's see. So we've got this last strip here. This is going to the farmer's market. Gotta make sure I'm staying hydrated. Like I mentioned earlier, it's something I never considered when first deciding to start the streams, but making sure I stay hydrated, making sure that because you're talking so much, you're losing a lot of fluid, and your mouth gets really dry. And because you're being distracted so much, because you're talking, trying to come up with topics and all that, you don't exactly notice it. It's actually kind of weird. I've never had that happen before where I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I don't notice that, hey, I'm thirsty. Oh, hey, I should take a drink. I've got dry mouth, kind of thing. It's not something I've ever experienced before. It's kind of a new one by me. Let's see. Dust Bunny, I've played the Old Stream Farm. That okay. Uh, and was going to play the Valley of the Old Farm, but the Frontier came out. I started playing on Frontier yesterday. I'm on the horse farm. Okay, nice, nice. That is such a cool map. I was gushing over Zero Edo on the last stream. Um, their maps are, in my opinion, just next level kind of maps. I love the detail on them, and all of them. The only complaint that I ever have with Zero Edo maps is the music. The music in the background in certain key areas makes it impossible to do a Let's Play series, in my opinion. I know Mr. Sealy P's doing it, and more power to him. It's not something I'm comfortable with doing, because the channel being the size that it is, having a copyright strike like that could be a complete killer to the channel. So especially because of where I'm at right now, being under 1,000 subscribers, you have certain penalties that are harsher than those creators who are over certain thresholds. So you get over, over 1,000, you're still punished, but you basically punished by demonetization, and then you have to go in and fix your issue, and then fix whatever the complaint is, the copyright issue, and then once it's fixed, then you can get remonetized, kind of thing. But it's one of those, you also can get channel strikes and things like that, depending on how severe the copyright issue is. So it's one of those that I don't dare go on to Frontier, because not only does Frontier have music at the shop, but there's actually music playing in several other locations, and it's actually copyright music. Like, it's not just like Farming Simulator music or copyright free music either. Like, I've actually been able to look up Shazam, which is the app that'll recognize music, and I've been able to go onto the map, off screen, obviously, and actually get strikes, like actual hits off of the music that are playing. Now, some of them are, music that I don't recognize. They're either in foreign languages, I think one was by a Spanish artist. I'm not 100% certain who it was, but it was all in foreign languages and stuff, but it still came up with a hit. It came up with a match. And when that happens, if Shazam's going to do it, YouTube is certainly going to match it, kind of thing. So it's one of those that I would have to be so conscious of, talking over the music or not going by music. And with Frontier, because there's more than one location, it makes it that much harder to be able to safely do a live stream, or do a live stream, or do a Let's Play on it. So it's one of those that basically anything that's Zero Edo, I love personally, but can't touch it with a 10-foot pole on this channel, unfortunately. It's a real shame. It's a real shame. Let's see. Why does YouTube punish the content creators for something they have no control over? The map creators should not be allowed to use copyright. So I don't know how that works. So I would imagine that Giants would have an issue with the use of copywritten music, but YouTube just doesn't care. They don't care that, how the copywritten music's being played. They just care that it's being played. because ultimately, in the end, if YouTube allows creators to use copywritten music, then they could inevitably be sued for the use of it, kind of thing. If they were to allow people to use it and not take it down, kind of thing, they could be held responsible for that, because that's what's then considered a what's the words I'm looking for? At that point, it's basically an editorial choice at that point, and things that would normally allow um, the copyright holder to then sue the individual who's breaking the rules would then transfer over to the big company, aka Google, or Alphabet in this scenario. They could eventually hold Alphabet responsible if Alphabet chose not to take action, kind of thing. So that's why YouTube is so strict about it. Is that they obviously don't want to incur any lawsuits, which I understand that makes sense. But it's one of those that it does surprise me that Giants allows that. Now, for PC and Mac, I know that they get away with a ton of stuff. They don't have to go through the licensing issues that things like PlayStation and Xbox. That's why we have Lizard branded products, is because of PC, or not because of PC and Mac, but because of console players. You know, they have to be licensed in order to be on console, and that's why you have, you know, like Ford is a good example on PC and Mac, and you don't have it on console, is because no way that Giants is ever going to get Ford, you know, to sell off their brand name at a reasonable price for Giants to be able to afford it, kind of thing. But for PC and Mac, they don't need that. They don't need the same kind of licensing, and the same restrictions don't apply to them, kind of thing. It's kind of a weird kind of situation. But you know what? Why am I struggling? Why am I struggling to try and go about this? And ultimately, the reason why content creators get punished the way that they do is ultimately it's the whole kind of kindergarten issue of one bad egg breaks the rules and everybody gets punished. And what I mean by that is, you know, like back in school, you know, if somebody had gum and they were sitting there blowing bubbles and stuff like that, well, not only would they lose their gum privileges, then everybody in the classroom lost their privileges, kind of thing. So it's one of those, you kind of hold everybody equally responsible for the actions of some. And that's essentially the approach that YouTube takes, is, you know, they're going to have some people who are so flagrantly breaking the rules and not caring about what rules are implemented, what are in place, and they'll always just jump right over the line. So for an example, there was a issue a while back where content creators, and this wasn't so prevalent on YouTube, but it was very prevalent on Twitch for a while, where content creators would literally have a picture of their face, like not a picture, but like a video of their face, like them on camera, in a very tiny box at the bottom corner of the screen, and then they would sit there and stream like copywritten material, like movies or television shows or whatever the case may be. And they wouldn't offer any kind of commentary, or they wouldn't. So one of the standards when you're using content that's copywritten is that it has to be transformative in nature. So you have to basically not take away from the original value that the original copyright holder has put out there. So if you put out a video, like if I were to put out a video and then somebody were to take my video and re-upload that video and did nothing to it, then they would basically be, they would have the ability to then make money off of something that I had done, kind of thing. So I think that so essentially what they were doing and what they were arguing on Twitch is that, well, my image is in the corner of it and people are there to watch me, not the thing I'm showing, kind of thing. Well, that obviously didn't fly and people got pretty much sued into oblivion at that point. Um, so you were seeing like a bunch of people, getting huge copyright strikes, getting taken off for days, weeks, months at a time, kind of thing. So it was just one of those really ridiculous kind of situations. And streamers are still doing it to this day. And it's really kind of silly because they don't have any appreciation for other people's copywritten material. Um, but I'm certain that if you were to do like what I mentioned before and repost their copywritten material, I'm certain that they would have a huge problem with it. I'm sure they would set a copyright strike, in a heartbeat, kind of thing. So it's one of those, you basically have to account for the worst offenders and treat everyone by those standards. So I understand why YouTube does it. I understand why um, there's the kind of guardrails in place, but it makes me really sad that I can't do the Zero Ito um, content, or that I could do it because I'm seeing like Mr. Sealy P's doing it, so obviously he's under the same kind of guidelines and stuff that I'm under, kind of things. And or I should say I'm under the same guidelines he's under. But the reason that he's kind of able to, I don't want to say get away with it, one is because of channel size, but two is because of how he's kind of going about things. He's making sure that he's talking over the music, that the automatic recognition software that YouTube uses isn't able to recognize it because he's talking over it, which is something that I could theoretically do as well. But it's one of those that I don't want to take the risk, because the risk to my channel is far greater than that of a Mr. Sealy P or anybody else, because I'm a much smaller fish in this big pond. If they were to take me offline for a week, or if they created a channel strike, um, then that could be very crippling to my channel. That, and I have certain guidelines that I have to follow that the bigger content creators don't necessarily have to, because then uh, my monetization could be affected for a long period of time, until I basically get out of the punishment for said infraction. So, long story short, there is a kind of tiered system in place, and it stinks to have to go through it, but I understand why we go through it, and I understand why it's in place, but it doesn't stink. It doesn't stink any less, kind of thing. Because there are maps I would love to do. I've always said the Green Valley is a map that I would love to do, and it's again Zero Ito, but it's again one of those maps where there's music playing at the shop, and thankfully it's only at the shop. It's not like Frontier where it's playing all over the place, kind of thing, and in several key locations. Now, I did get a suggestion the other day, and I actually kind of thought it over. So the suggestion is that if you go to the shop, why don't you mute your audio? Why don't you just mute the audio so that it doesn't come through, and then you can, because the way that the stream works, like what we're doing here and now, there's audio that comes from my microphone so you can hear me talk, but then there's the game audio that comes, from the Xbox that I play from, kind of thing. So there's two separate channels of audio that then gets combined into one for everyone to listen to on their phones, on their PCs, whatever. Well, I could theoretically mute the game audio at that point, which might be appealing to do. But the thing is that I have to remember to do that. And I'm sure after a while of, kind of getting into it and making sure that I'm kind of following the rules and doing all that stuff, I'm sure eventually I'd get into the habit of saying, okay, I'm getting ready to go up to the shop. I need to mute this audio and then kind of go from there. So that might be something I consider doing. That would be virtually impossible and on Frontier, like I said, because there's so many points of music, there's so many like areas in which there's music that's played. I'm trying to think of whether or not I'm going to do this contract or not. 1,400, 2.1 acres, 68. You know what? Why not? Let's go ahead and do this real quick. But anyways, so Frontier, I wouldn't even consider, just because of how many different areas there are that could be a potential issue. But for a map like the Green Valley, doing that, I would actually consider doing it. So it's just one of those that I have to weigh the kind of risk and reward. One of those, in my line of work, it's called a cost-benefit analysis. And essentially what it is, it's risk versus reward, is what it all kind of boils down to. And up into that suggestion, the risk was too great in comparison to the reward. But with that kind of as a suggestion, that might be something that's viable. I'm kind of trying to figure out what potential there is for me to get some kind of hotkey or some kind of trigger to where I'd be able to just push a button real fast and then it would just mute that segment of audio. So there's things like soundboards and whatnot that you can have running on streams and on just recorded content in general. And that might be an option, to be able to just at a push of a button mute the volume that's coming from the game, and then not have to sit there and worry about the audio coming from the game. But then all you're hearing is my voice, and you're not hearing any of the engines, the birds, the music, anything at that point. So that might be a little off-putting. I don't know. What do you all think? If I were to sit here and let's say we're playing this game here, and I'm going up to the shop, kind of thing, and I have to mute the volume, do you think that's something that you, as a viewer, could look past, kind of thing? Like, do you think that it would be worth a Let's Play if that was the kind of quote-unquote price to be paid kind of thing? It is the occasion of muting the audio coming from the game kind of thing. I don't know. That might be an option, but I think I need a little bit of feedback from you all to see if that might be, something that might be too jarring, or I don't know. Let's see. That's money that seems so unfair to content creators. Yeah, definitely can be. I think that's what Mr. Seeley... Oh, is he? So I only caught a couple of the episodes. I think I was up to like episode 4, and that's when I heard your name thrown out there. So, like I said, I thought that was really cool when, when 100,000 subscriber YouTuber throws out one individual person. I think that's kind of cool. But I know he made such a big deal about reaching 100,000, and I feel so good for him. Like I that's such an amazing thing. He said that was like his one and only goal with YouTube, was to get to that 100,000 mark, and now he's finally there. So congratulations, Mr. Seeley P. It's one of those that you absolutely deserve it. You know, being at 100K, but yeah, like I said, I've only seen a couple of the episodes, and um, I wasn't aware that those were the measures that he was taking. So that might be something I have to consider doing because, like I said, the Green Valley, I've ever since that map came out is a map I really wanted to like dive into and do a let's play, like a deep let's play into that, because I think that that map could be like a ton of fun, like on the level of for those that have seen the let's play, on the same level as New Lands, and as much fun as I had on New Lands. Here we go. Except with the Valley, I'm sorry, not the Valley, the old farm, but with Green Valley, that one there is a bit more dynamic than the Green Valley, because the Green Valley you had to basically make everything. The Green Valley you have to make a lot of things. There's going to be a lot of forestry. There's going to be a lot of farming, but the only kind of contracts you had on New Lands was grass care contracts. So there wasn't a lot of room to expand out, and when you got to do things that was anything besides grass care, it was real special. It was incredibly special. So it was one of those kind of I really enjoyed doing it, but at the same time I was glad to well, you know what, I don't want to say it like that. I was going to say I was glad to be done with it, and that's not true. I wasn't glad to be done with it, but it was a lot harder to do that let's play than say, oh hey, there's a car right there, than any other let's play, because your options are so limited. It's just like a let's play where it's like a start from scratch with a forestry map kind of thing, and all you have is forestry. You don't have any other mechanism to make money or to do things with, so you're basically limited as to what it is that you can make content with and what you can kind of do, kind of thing. So at the end of the day, you know, I could see that map just being a boatload of fun and being able to come up with all sorts of different stuff for that. As for going to the shop, you could always go through the menu when you get close to the shop. Just pretend you're actually in the shop. Okay. That's actually a good suggestion. I like that suggestion. Okay, okay. Might also be possible to edit out the sections and just make it common of sorts of going to the shop. Okay, okay. So that's definitely a possibility, is just edit out the shop trip entirely. Now see, why didn't I think of that? You know what? I'm the content creator. Why didn't I think of that? I could just edit those sections out. I mean, you know what? That's the problem though, is the live streams. So the live streams would be, you know, where I couldn't necessarily edit it out. But again, it's one of those where even on the live streams, like I could say, okay guys, we're all going to the shop, and you know, I gotta talk really loud, or I gotta mute that channel. Let's see. Subscribers understand that YouTube is weird and causes problems. Yeah, yeah, they definitely do understand. It's certainly one of those. I think that's a lot to do with a lot of creators that will openly talk about the kind of limitations that they're under, like the kind of like what we're doing here. Yeah, I think there's a lot of content creators out there that kind of explain, like, look, I would love to be able to do X, Y, or Z, but because of, you know, A, B, and C, I can't do that, kind of thing. Let's see. Is this? this field is actually relatively small. It's narrow, but surprisingly, wait a minute. Ooh, that might be a way to get a little extra product. Sorry, neighbor. Oh, goodness. I swear I could be such a child sometimes. Whoops, oops, 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 oops. There we go. Let's see. You would need to plan your live streams around areas where there's no music. So yeah, that's definitely something that would have to happen. Is a bit more forethought would have to go into the live streams to not revolve around those areas where there's music playing. So, which can certainly happen. That's certainly something that could happen. If you need to go to an area where music picks up a vehicle or equipment, you could just do a brief edit and show you where you return after picking it up. Yeah, and yeah, I actually really like that idea too, because I think that would then save me from on the fly. Because the only thing that would worry me about having to sit there and adjust on the fly whether or not to turn on or off volume is forgetting to turn it back on, which I have done in the past. There has been times where um, so on the microphone that I use, there's a mute button on the microphone itself, and there has been time. And what's funny is the microphone, it sits at pretty much mouth level and is flipped upside down, so that the light is almost directly in my line of sight. Well, I did that for very specific reasons, because when that light is on, it tells me that my audio is going out and is making it to the computer, is being captured. But if the light is flashing, that tells me that it's muted and it's not sending out signal like it's supposed to. But there has been times where I'm so wrapped up in the story or the contract or the whatever that I completely forget to hit the button. And where my computer sits and where I'd have to mute that audio, or the not the audio from me but the audio from the game, um, where I'd have to mute it is actually out of my line of sight. It's actually off to the most extreme portion of my peripheral vision, and it's because of that I think I'd miss it on a greater basis. So it's one of those that maybe I'd wait to, well, no, if I edited it out, then I wouldn't have to worry about it at all. And then edit anytime I went up to the shop, because like I said, if I were to do one 080 map, it would be Green Valley. And it's one of those where I could certainly edit out those kind of interactions at the store and then wouldn't have to worry about it at all. You know what? I think that let's see. Okay, so I did catch up to that. So, Dust Bunny, you did those brief edits quite frequently on the Valley Vale farm, where you say, "I'll be." Yep, yep, exactly. So I think that's certainly a viable option there. I think that'll actually be a really good option right there, is to just completely edit out the shop. That would be a little bit harder with Frontier, and because of the kind of random spots. So on like Green Valley and VR 153 and pretty much any of the newer 080 maps where there is music involved, they're all pretty much confined at the shop. There's not any other places I can think of where it's not confined to that specific location. Um, but then there's Frontier, where it's kind of pops around in several places on the map, and unless I were to go through and kind of like really focus as to where the music's coming from, like spend a few hours trying to find it all, um, it'd just be far too easy to kind of accidentally come across those areas, and then again be kind of up the creek without a paddle kind of situation. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. There's still plenty of life left on this Let's Play and this series, so it's not going to happen anytime soon. And who knows what maps are going to come out between, you know, the end of this series and the beginning of the next one. Because it's one of those. There's tons of other maps that have come out here recently, like American Falls by Lancey Boy. That one came out, and that one's really sharp. I love that one. There's Court Farms that came out. I believe that was here recently. There's the new one by Black Sheep Modding, Campaign of France. Um, yeah, so I mean, there's just so many different places, so many different maps that are certainly within the realm of potential to kind of move on and move on from here. But again, we're only on episode 12 on this series so far, so it's one of those that we still got plenty of time to kind of figure things out and where to go from here. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. There's a... Oh, and there goes my batteries. I literally just changed these things out just yesterday. Just yesterday. So, I have rechargeable batteries. They're like not actual gaming batteries. They are just like 2800 milliamp AA batteries that are rechargeable kind of thing. And oh, well, I guess it would help if I put them in properly. Yeah, completely put them backwards. 100%. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so... No, that wasn't what I was saying. Oh, now I lost it. Pending an update from at Giants for American Falls. Okay. I'd be really interested to see what the update is there on that one, because that one is a really sharp map. I do like that map, and it's such a shame that that's the last one from Lancey Boy. Yeah, and it's especially a shame for the reasons that it's the last one. You know, there can be some really rotten people out there, and that the fact that those people were able to kind of get to Lancey Boy to such a degree that, you know, they no longer want to do the social medias, they no longer want to do the map making and stuff like that. Like, that's so despicable. Like, after talking to Silver Eagle, you know, they don't get paid to make these maps. They don't get trophies, they don't get awards. Like, they do this because they have a love for the game. They have a love for the community, and they want to flex their talents. And they the fact that people think that it's okay to just go to them and, kind of either berate them, talk down to them, whatever the cases were in Lancey Boy's situation. I don't know all the details, but it's one of those that at the end of the day, to think that, you know, people were able to, you know, get that larger reaction out of Lancey Boy is just terrible. It's just terrible. And it's a real shame because Lancey Boy is such a good map maker and a good modder that we're missing out on someone special. But that was something I was afraid of when doing my map tours, about rendering my opinion. So anybody who follows my content and sees my map tours, at the end of every single map tour, I always render my opinion on a 0 to 5 scale of what I think of the map. And whenever I have any kind of negative thing to say about a map, I always couch it in I try to make it as constructive criticism as possible, number one. Number two is that I always couch it in, even though I'm giving this a poor grade, this is one, just my opinion. Two, I am greatly appreciative of every single map maker out there. Even if I'm giving this particular map a poor grade, I'm grateful that this map is out there because I am not the arbiter of all things that is maps. I am not the person who decides, this is a good map and this is a bad map, and therefore, this map nobody should play, kind of nonsense. Like, I'm not that person. I'm rendering my opinion because, one, if the map maker hears it, which has happened, that they can kind of take it back and learn from it, grow from it, and whatnot. And we as people, and I firmly believe this, we learn more from negatives than we do from positives. If all somebody ever hears is, oh, you're great, oh, you did this, oh, you're fantastic, all this positive reinforcement, then they have no incentive to grow. They have no reason to try and do better because they think they're at their best. But if somebody were to come to me and try and be as constructive as possible with their critique and say, hey, you do X, Y, and Z, you should consider doing A, B, and C, kind of thing. Well, then that leaves me something to work with. Then I can sit there and be like, you know what? You have a point, or you don't have a point because I do this X, Y, and Z for A, B, and C reasons, kind of thing. So there could be a reason why that something exists the way it does, kind of thing. But without that feedback, without that, constructive criticism, there's no way for anybody to grow. There's no way for anybody to try and aim for better. And it might not be, grow with that particular item, but it might be something for in the future, kind of thing. It's like, no, I want this thing to be the way that it is, kind of thing, but I will consider this for a future map. I will consider this for, a future project, kind of thing. So the fact that, like I said, that people kind of, for lack of a better word, ran off Lancey Boy is disgusting, in my opinion. And it's a real shame, and I wish it didn't happen. Because, like I said, we lost a very big fish in this pond with Lancey Boy not making any more mods, and there's still plenty of life left in this game. It's not like this game is going to get replaced by FS25 anytime soon. We still have probably a couple of years of gameplay on this. You know, Giants is still getting ready to push out their year 2 content, and there might even be year 3 content for all we know. You know, so it's one of those, like, there's going to be a long time without, you know, that particular creator, and there's plenty of creators out there who have basically said the same thing. You know, well, I'm not going to do this anymore because it's just, there's too many toxic people, there's too many of this, there's too much of that kind of thing. So it's at the end of the day, it's a real shame. But to go back to what I was saying about the tours, you know, like I said, the reason that I decided in the end is to render my opinion at the end of map tours is because I want to be as fair as possible when doing the map tours. And again, I couch it in it's my opinion, that's number one, and I'm not to be, you know, mistaken as, you know, infallible or anything like that, because that's certainly not the case. But at the same time, if I can help somebody out by making a suggestion and saying, well, this is something I don't care for, you know, the flowers on the side of the road, it makes the map look a little cartoonish, you know, things like that. Well, then the map maker might take that take that, you know, to heart and be like, oh, well, you know, maybe they have a point. Let me do this kind of thing now or potentially in the future, kind of thing. And like I said, I have had those conversations with map makers, you know, who have responded to me and said, hey, you know, I appreciate the feedback, kind of thing. I will, you know, see what I can do about implementing those updates, kind of thing. And it's one of those, like, that's amazing. That's wonderful, because, you know, one shows that you're genuinely interested in what, you know, your audience thinks. You know, anybody who's going to play on your map, you're interested in that feedback. But at the same time, it creates that avenue of, you know, that line of communication to let people know that, hey, you know, I hear you, kind of thing. I understand what it is you're saying, and what you're saying makes sense, it's valid, and this is what we can do, you know, now or in the future, kind of thing. So, long story short, yeah. Let's see, we gotta get to the market. I think this is the last contract I have. It is. Well, I certainly wasn't planning on staying up this late, but I greatly appreciate all of you who stayed up with me, who's hung out, who's participated in the chat. You know, greatly appreciate it. This is, like I say this all the time, I have a ball hanging out with everybody and just, you know, talking it up and, you know, seeing how everyone's doing and going, you know, going through all this with y'all. So I had a ball tonight. Thank you all so much. We're gonna go ahead and sell off this oats here. I'm gonna take it up to the farm in the silo, and then we'll probably start kind of wrapping things up. Because, wow, I just realized it is 1:45 where I'm at. That is crazy. Let's see. It's been great to be back. Hopefully be able to make the next live stream. Well, hey, Dust Bunny, I greatly appreciate you coming back on and hanging out with us tonight. I really do. Like I said, I am going to be wishing the best for you and, you know, your house and all the things that you're doing at the moment. I really hope that you're able to get the kind of contractors under control with the new place there, with your kid, like you said, and be able to get that all built out as quickly as possible, so that you that you're as comfortable there as possible. So, like I said, I really do appreciate all of you. I really do appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out. Um, yeah, this is such an amazing place, such an amazing thing that we have going here, and I really do treasure it. Let's see. Thank you for your well wishes. I appreciate that very much. No problem. No problem at all. Like I said, it's one of those that I really think that, well, I've said this before, and I'll go ahead and say it again. I don't think that in life anybody's necessarily given more than what they're able to handle. Might have to struggle a little bit, might have to rise to the occasion, kind of thing. But it's one of those where I think that we're all capable of doing things far greater than what we give ourselves credit for. And when stressful situations arise, it feels like it's really terrible, that it's such a bad thing, but somehow things oftentimes tend to work out better than what we think of them at the moment. And I genuinely hope that's what happens for you, Dust Bunny. I genuinely hope that it's just a thing of the moment kind of thing. So I'll be thinking of you. I'll definitely keep you in my thoughts. And like I said, just so glad that you're back and that you're able to make it to the stream. Like I said, hopefully we'll be able to see you around more often, and hopefully after, I think you said the second, which is not too much further, hopefully after the second things start to kind of wind down, calm down, and that you're able to, kind of return to whatever new normal you're creating for yourself. Let's see. So let's go ahead and get this. So 600 liters. We're not making a whole ton on wheat here, but every little bit helps. Honestly, probably could have just sold this and instead of trying to save it, but not a big deal. Oof. Ooh, wrong way. No, why am I doing that? I think it's because it's getting so late. I'm just messing up left and right. Nope, now it's starting to turn. No, why? Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. Reset. Oh my goodness. My brain is just not not wanting me to do this. There we go. Perseverance. That's what we'll call that. Oh goodness. Well, like I said, I greatly appreciate everybody who showed up tonight. I had an absolute ball tonight. Let's see. Let's go ahead and collect that. We are now completely out of contracts for this month, but I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing that shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope every single one of you who's out there right now has a fantastic day, night, wherever you're at in the world. I hope you all take care. Oh, actually, before I sign off, I just saw your comment there, Dust Bunny, before I take off. Um, I'll be living with my son and daughter-in-law while they wait for my new house to be built, and that will be some adjusting for us all. Oh yeah, living with family is, especially when you haven't lived together in a long time, is, definitely an adjustment. But it's only temporary, and with few prayers, I'm sure we'll get through it. Yes, yes. Well, I will certainly keep you in mind, like I said. But like I said, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Take care.